There's a creature that lives underground in Cartozia called a behandler.
Welcome to Stuck in Vermont, brought to you by 7 Days and sponsored by Hotel Vermont and Vermont Tourism. My name's Ava Solberger. We are here in downtown Burlington at Phoenix Books. We're going to spend the afternoon with the editor of Cartozia Tales.
It's this sort of potatoey blob with hands sticking off in all directions, and it's fighting an octopus.
Far, far away, in a land which you and I have never been to, there is a very complicated, imaginative world, Cartozia.
I kept thinking about this method of collaborating around a map, of trying to make a whole world. And I have enough cartoonist friends that I would really like to do that with. I can show you for sure how to draw some of the guys that I designed. This guy Wick, the wind-up man, he's got a couple of eyes. I try to keep him really simple so that he'd be easy to draw. I would know right away who that was. Cartozia Tales is sort of an anthology. Each issue has 9 stories in it. They're all set in the same world, and they're all drawn by different people. And as we move from one issue to the next, the people get shuffled around, so you don't get to keep drawing the same characters. Instead, you get to pick up somebody else's characters or somebody else's story and decide what happens next.
It's got really cool illustrations, and I really like that it's different people doing the same stories every time.
Every time that they came in the mail, Leah would get all excited that the one arrived.
I read it once when I get it, and then I reread it, and then I read the last one. I just read them a lot.
Well, I've never really read a comic before, but those were like the first comics I've ever read.
Any type of encouragement of reading is something we really strongly believe in, and at this point she's very visual. This format is great for her age.
I think of it as being for all ages. Stories that appeal to kids, if they really are good stories, they're going to appeal to grown-ups for pretty much the same reasons. And they disguise themselves so they look a little bit like pirates. Are you drawing Hubert?
I'm trying.
It totally looks like him. So he looks a little different depending on who's drawing him. For an indie comic, we have a lot of readers. Compared to a normal book, we're invisible. One of the first characters that my buddy Mike and I made up is this otter girl, Minig, who is one of my favorite characters in the book. I just gave her a kind of cliffhanger.
There's a lot of cliffhangers, which I like about it.
My friend Sarah, she draws Minig a little different, but you can tell it's the same character. It's just brilliant. She just bites the plant really hard.
So it just makes you just want to keep reading it.
There's a couple of people who have been guests who came through Center for Cartoon Studies. Our core group of cartoonists, the 7 of us, we're in Portland, Seattle, Chicago, Washington, D.C., New York City. James Kachalka did a story for us too, so they've been drawn by 6 or 7 other people. Adi. Yeah, Adi is a Fibbit. The C-A-R-T in Cartozia comes both from cartography, that means map making, and cartooning. Like Minig's story starts off sort of in this vicinity, which I think is full of like mantis men. When we do the table of contents, we do it as a map, like this, to show where the stories are happening. Although we know that the people who live in Centaur are dinosaur people. This little chunk of the map has all these little dots on it because there's another story where we have a bigger map. There's a southmost isle, but there's another island that's even farther south. During this issue, some of the characters go underground, and we also have a underground adventure on this side. The more you look at a map, the more things are there, and that's true about narrative too.
That one.
Yeah, that's her, Gramoxa, this dinosaur witch. Have you seen her yet?
No.
Oh yeah, she's really bad.
I like how complex it is, but it's a little bit confusing sometimes, and unless you've like read from the beginning to the end, it's really hard to like know where to start.
You get more out of it the more time I spend with it, because there are relationships throughout, there's themes throughout it that you kind of, the more I read, the more I sort of like, oh, now I get it.
Queen City Printers did this for us too. We're at Queen City Printers on Pine Street to do a press check for the covers of the new reissue of Cartozia Tales #1. It's great to see something that I've really mostly been working with digitally turn into a physical object. Yeah, I really like the possibility of imagining a whole world, especially imagining a world together with your friends.
You can meet Isaac and pick up some Cartozia Tales at Vermont Comic Con this weekend, and we will get stuck in Vermont with you again real soon. And don't forget to follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and sign up for our weekly email alerts.
Upside down, where all the buildings hang downward and everybody's feet get stuck up, right? Everybody's feet are up at, stuck to the tree, upside down. The whole building, the whole town is upside down.
What's it called? Upside Down?
Upside town, yeah.
That's so funny. Stranger Things has a whole upside down world. That is so funny.
Well, now I really have to watch it.
Yeah, you do.
I gotta finish BoJack Horseman first. I gotta catch up on BoJack before
I'm
I
telling
can.
you that.